gonna do this with the car hard on or not?
Yeah, leaving it on.
Leaving it on? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm ticked off. I don't do bottled water, so get that out. I've never drank bottled water, never had a bagel, and I've never
You never had a bagel?
Never ridden in a limo.
What's wrong with a bagel?
And I've never smoked crack cocaine either. But
I have, and I rode in a limo in Tennessee.
while eating a bagel.
Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, let's
All right, I'm recording, guys. Yeah, we're good.
What did you learn in there? Are you satisfied with it?
Absolutely nothing. It just proved my point that, I mean, the federal government learned how to do this during the Second World War. You got to imagine Oak Ridge National Laboratory, Manhattan Project, thousands of people working on an atomic bomb, and less than 12 actually knew what it was, and that was kept secret. I mean, these guys are just the classic, it's like a stovepipe, man. They just got their little bit of information, and it doesn't go, and that's the way they keep this. You can say it's disinformation, you can say whatever, but, if I got to hear one more time, I don't know what I don't know, it's another layer of the onion, and we threw another layer, and we know where not to go, and it's with these cats.
So did they bring the wrong people in there?
No,
Are there
the people, exactly the people they knew they were going to bring in there, the people that don't know the answers, and they are not privileged to what we need to know.
Do you know who has the answers?
That's a great question, and no, we do not know, and we just keep peeling that onion. I'm not going to give up. I mean, they're going to continue to discrediting and run us around and get limited. But the good thing about it was, we've got people on both sides of the aisle. My buddy Jared Moskowitz, AOC was in there, just a lot of people on both sides of the aisle. And Luna on our side, and General Perry, and just everybody was in there. I mean, it was the right people to be in there, and they all left frustrated, I felt like.
Yeah.
So,
Because some of them in there are not UFO people. I mean,
Yeah.
they just don't think they exist, but they're seeing the frustration the rest of us have seen.
did you learn anything about?
Let me stop you there. I didn't learn anything. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
So we heard some others come out and talk about whether they actually have the right classification. Was there anything insightful about who might have the proper classification?
That's another thing. That's like whack-a-mole, man. No, we don't have credit classification. You got to get this, you got to get that. It's just an endless running down a hallway, and it's like the Winchester range. You just open the door to nowhere.
So you didn't learn anything new. Did they disprove any? Was anything disproven that you thought might have,
No, they didn't disprove anything for me. They had a few legal questions, legal loopholes, but it's clear to me. I mean, these guys are telling the truth. As I've said many times, most of these folks are patriotic Americans. They're doing their job, but their job, the confines of their job, limit them on what they can say to us, because they just don't know. They got to go, and the way they do it is they keep you in so limited that they can go swear under oath and they can lie detector test, and they're telling the truth as they know it.
they legitimately don't?
Yeah.
So what would be the next steps for you all?
Well, we guess another hearing, Department of Defense, and more people will be frustrated. But until somebody walks out of one of these private contractors with physical evidence, we're never going to get to bottom.
But with them,
See you guys,
How do you-
thank you. I'm not blasting you all.
he's blasting your bosses, though.
Yeah, blasting your bosses.
Wait, but who is their bosses? What would it take for you all to get the information? Would it be Congress changing the classification rules?
Well, that's the problem. I don't think Congress has the power to change the classifications, and you've got people in Congress who probably have those classifications, and they get the intelligence committee, and it's such a tight-knit little club. We've got it. It's the drawbridge scenario. They get over, and then they pull the drawbridge up for the rest of us because they're in this little elite clique. And the reason they're in that elite clique is because they raise so much money, and give it to the conference, and it's both parties. So the system's corrupted, and will we get to the bottom of it? I don't know.
After the balloon incident.
Do what?
After the Chinese balloon incident in January.
Alleged Chinese balloons.
Yeah, but you had Senators Cornyn and Warner teaming up with some others to try to change classifications, saying that there's just warehouses of classified docs. Why are you saying that Congress doesn't have that power?
Well, that remains to be seen if we do. And how would they ever give it to? You got to say, are we going to trust a group that's untrustworthy? You know, that has a history. I mean, since 1947, we've not been given the truth. So all of a sudden now they're going to give us the truth. No.
Some of your colleagues were saying a select committee might empower you guys more, or is that just...
The committee would empower us more, but that's, there again, leadership has to agree with it. And leadership, you know, they get the call from the big boys, just like my amendment on the FAA reauthorization that just said if a private pilot sees something and they report it to the FAA, they have to make that report available to Congress, or report to Congress. And it was blocked. We didn't even get it. I didn't even get to present because it was the whip told me that the intelligence community blocked it.
But leadership's now a new boy in town. Why not get to his ear before Intel does?
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, you know, I've got a large hurdle to get over.
Yeah.
Are you hopeful he may be more receptive to?
Oh yeah, of course I am. Of course I am. I mean, we haven't been tainted by this town. Yeah, and we'll talk to him, see how it goes.
So you have an Intel IG coming in as well, right? Do you expect anything different from that, or is it going to be the same old?
Well, I mean, what this reveals to me is everybody has their little compartmentalization, and they're telling the truth, and they can take a lie detector test, and they can take an oath under God, and be honestly telling the truth as they know it. But you've got that little stovepipe that just covers that little segment of information, A to G, and then from H to Z, somebody else has it, and then, well, I don't know. You know, they just tell us, I don't know. You'll have to ask them. Well, how do we know? Well, we don't know.
So obviously, okay, you don't have a lot of faith.
And it's done that way by it's intentionally done that way so that, you know, you cannot get to this information.
So you don't have a lot of faith in the IG.
Let me correct you, I have zero faith.
Zero faith. Okay. I know you have faith in David Rush, and I know he's trying to get the right clearance and everything. Have you heard where he is yet in the process? Do you have faith that is going to happen actually?
I'm putting in the budget an appropriation in the amendment as an amendment to give him the clearance, to reinstitute his security clearance so that we can bring him in. Hopefully that amendment will pass.
He seems very willing. It's just at this point it seems like he's caught up.
And he's such a dishonorable guy, as a lot of people have portrayed him. Then why in the world is he willing to go through all these hoops so that he makes sure he tells us in a proper setting, which tells me that he is a deeply honorable person.
But what's the last you've heard about where he is in the process? Is he close? Is he? You know, the speaker at Grace, I think, delayed that quite a bit.
I have heard that. Let's see. That he is in the process, but it's just stone dead. I'm just leaving it at that. We're trying to get, and that's why we're not going to get it, and that's why it's so important for friend Congressman Burlison's amendment to get approved.
Okay. Congressman Burlison, we're going to follow up with you on that. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
I wasn't surprised. I do think we need to get people from Aero and the Department of Defense in the room. I think that we owe it to the American people to understand where the money is being spent. I don't know. Tim and I may have different views on what we're seeing, but people are seeing something. The question is, what is it, and how much money are we spending on this technology? And what concerns me is that what appears to be is that somebody has discovered something, some advanced form of propulsion or technology that might actually change all of our lives, make it for the better. But clearly it's an experimental phase, or we are experimenting with it, and I want to know to what extent, how much we're spending.
If Rush is getting stonewalled and you're experiencing some frustration with classification, are there other avenues you're considering exploring, other people you're interested in trying to get into?
Yes, but if we tell you, then then it becomes apparent, and then they get blocked. So we learned our lesson on that.
So does it feel like they're hiding a U.S. government program from Congress, like Grush claimed, that they were hiding SAPs, special access programs from you all?
I don't know. I think as I've stated, it's so compartmentalized and that it's handed off to a private corporation. That's my thoughts on it. And then that's how they escape FOIA, by giving it to a private contractor. Then the question is, they receive federal money, should we not have access? And so that's it.
Yeah, that's where I think
Fine line.
it's hard to dispute that claim. I think that claim that Grush made is a valid claim, that there's money that the private sector has in their budgets that we don't have any access to, because we're not appropriating to them directly for that at this time. The private sector, obviously, if they see an opportunity in the future for an RFP, they're gonna do advanced research and technology leading up to that, and so, but we're never probably going to ever have access to that information.
So the fear is less so that a foreign government has this technology. It's more so that our own government.
I can't say. I don't know.
Can you go over the money question again, just a bit more broadly? This money is appropriated by Congress, but why is it that you all don't know exactly how it's spent?
Yeah, that's exactly right. My question is where. So I think that the answer is that Grush, his claims were that in some cases there's overbilling, or they're funding things that are to the extent calling it something
At
else.
one point, the Pentagon, 60% of their assets are unaccounted for. They've never passed an audit. This last deal, and we raised those issues, they penalized them by giving them $30 billion additional dollars this year. So, that's pretty clear. We're afraid to ask, and if you ask, you're not being patriotic. And that's why I call them war pimps. That's how they are.
So why not go right now? So why not go right now to the new speaker's office and kind of get his ear before the Pentagon does?
Yeah, we should do that.
Have you talked to him?
He just got elected.
I know, right?
The answer is yes.
Yeah. All right.
Good.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mr. Burchett, I was curious. Have you have they investigated Grush's claims? Do you feel like they're taking his claims seriously?
Can we answer that?
I
Are they taking this? Well,
don't know that we can.
Yeah.
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 Well, because in that public hearing, a lot of his claims, he said, can only be verified behind closed doors. It sounds like you guys got no verification today. Yeah.
Restate that question again.
In Grush's public testimony, he said 40, 50 times, I can only answer that in a skiff. I can only answer that in a skiff.
We have to get him in the skiff.
But did this session bring any
No.
illumination to his testimony?
Because we can't get him in the skiff. That's the problem.
It did for me.
On a few points
Yeah.
that you can't talk about.
But I can't. I don't know that I can.
I don't want you to go to jail.
Right.
But so circling back, do you think you guys would be more empowered if you have a select committee? Does that just put
Yes.
more why? Putting more the spotlight on?
I don't know this place, but that's from what I understand.
You have subpoena power, and you don't have to go through leaderships.
And right now you do.
Yeah, we can just go. We can just do it.
And a lot of the information that we're looking into is they say is on need to know basis, and if we're in a formal committee, then that gives us the need to know.
Yeah. Because right now, we don't have a speaker. Do you think this is the Intel committee, Intel community, DOD? Who's the hurdle, or is it?
It's all of them, and that's why that's why it's so compartmentalized on purpose, so we can't get to anything.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good one.